Greetings IB artists, this is Miss A, and today I want to talk to you about how important it is to take good photographs of your work for the e-submissions. In my short this week I outline how important photography is, and today I'm going to give you 5 tips to ensure that your photographs are of good quality. I've mentioned the importance of taking good photos quite a few times in quite a few of my videos, and it really should not be underestimated. Remember, as I've said many times before, it is the only reference that the examiner has of your work. So they are really, really important. Getting into the habit of setting up the photo shoot properly, if in the future you want to do anything creative and need to take photos of your work, what you learn now will serve you well later as well. So it's really important that, most of the images that we see nowadays are digital, and it means that photography is really, really important. Most people have access to some sort of camera, whether it's on a phone or, a fancier one like an SLR. Whatever it is that you have, make sure that you use it properly. There's lots and lots of really good videos of how to take good photographs online, and just a little bit of research can really help you take good photos. I'm sure you can also ask your teachers and anybody who you can trust to give you good advice on this. So today I'm going to give you 5 tips. The number 1 tip is that you make sure that in your photographs there are no distractions. Do not include people in the photos. Do not include yourself in the photos. The more you can do to stay anonymous, the better, because you don't want to be judged on anything else apart from your work. I'm not insinuating that you would be judged on anything else, but just make sure that there are no distractions so that whoever is looking at your work is really only focused on what they see. This includes keeping your backgrounds really plain and simple, and just, the star of the show should be your work. Lighting is extremely important. You don't need to have a fancy setup for lighting. Just make sure that the lighting on your work is even. Avoid harsh lighting like a flash or spotlights. Make sure that it is even across the whole artwork. One of the best things would be to go out on a cloudy day, or even if the light is coming through a window, that's fine. Just make sure that your work is well lit and that there's no shadows falling onto it, and that the lighting covers all of it so that you can see it clearly. It makes perfect sense, but you will be surprised how careless people can be when they take photos. So make sure that's not you. Number 2 is the angle of your work. Make sure that your artwork is parallel to the lens of the camera. So if your artwork is hanging on a wall, make sure that the lens of your camera, whatever you're using, is also straight up. I would highly recommend that you use a tripod anyway, especially for getting the angle right. A tripod can be quite helpful. So if your picture is straight up, then your lens should also be parallel to that. If your artwork is a little bit tipped, then so should your camera be. So just make sure that the angle of your artwork is parallel to the angle of your camera lens. That way you avoid any distortion. And you've done this because the edges of your artwork should be straight when you look into the frame of the camera. Okay, so that's really important, especially when you're dealing with a rectangle of paper or the rectangle format of a canvas. Number 3, you are allowed to submit details of your work, and make sure that you use this in a clever way. Because the examiner is not seeing and experiencing your work in real life, they're only looking at an image of it. Make sure that if the texture or some kind of detail in your artwork is important, that you highlight this by taking close-ups. Do not repeat those close-ups. Do not include random photos. And also when you zoom into things, you will probably need more light. So make sure that you're not zooming in and that the image that you're taking is very dark. Make sure that the close-ups of your work that you take are highlighting whatever it is that you want to show the examiner. So make sure that they're clear and make sure that you've taken them for a reason. The two photos of your exhibition, so these are the two photos that you take of the overall exhibition, so all your work put together, are really, really important. As an examiner, I refer to them a lot because it gives me an idea of the overall exhibition. It gives me an idea of how the group of works work together. It gives me an idea of the scale of the work, and I see how the space has been set up to interact with the audience. So they're really, really important. They're also at the end, when I'm marking the work, I look at those two because it reminds me of all of the work in one picture, right? I don't have to go back and see each one again. So what I'm saying is they're really, really important. So all the rules that I have already talked about apply to the two photographs that you take of your exhibition as well. So make sure that the lighting is good, that the photos are in focus, and that there aren't any distractions. I understand that sometimes you will be sharing a space. That's fine, as long as it's clear which is your space and that you minimize the distractions around your space. Okay, so I really hope that's been helpful. I appreciate people subscribing. I wish you all the very best and thank you for watching. So make sure that the lighting is good, that you've taken the time to, that the photos are in